Hello, I'm Toby Fox from 1.5 million new homes, the local government challenge brought to you by Redloft and Bugler Developments. Now the government is telling us we need to get 1.5 million new homes built, and their key delivery arm in making that happen is local government. I'm here in Ealing with the council in West London to understand a little bit about what works and what needs to change to enable councils to deliver more homes. One of the key challenges that councils face in getting those homes built is attracting talent in the housing delivery sector. So I'm here with some of that talent, with Alison and with Esra Elrahman, to talk a little bit about their career journeys and also about their role in developing sites for new homes. So Alison, do you want to kick off by telling us a little bit about where we are and what the potential is that you see here?
Sure, thanks Toby. So we're standing in Perceval House car park. This is the council's main car park to its office building, and we're looking at a residential-led development here, high quality homes. Looking at policy compliant, that's our starting point, policy compliant in terms of affordable housing, good to high levels of sustainability, so either kind of compliant with the council's local plan, but we're also exploring passive house, and we're considering whether we can include a district heat network energy centre here as well. The site is located in Ealing Town Centre, Ealing Metropolitan Town Centre. So it's very well located in terms of proximity to town centre uses, and of course the Ealing Broadway Elizabeth Line station.
Which puts us like within 20 minutes, half an hour of the middle of London, right?
Yeah, which is where I come from. So yeah, very quick journey into the office.
And what could you put here on this site? What's the kind of scale of development that could happen here?
So we're looking at about 150 homes that needs to be kind of tested through the planning process, but that's what we're kind of, that's what our capacity study is showing it could be possible here.
Okay, and how would that tenure break down?
Yeah, so that would be looking at starting off with policy compliance, so we're kind of open to looking at other options depending on kind of what the kind of specialist providers that might come forward. But so that would be 50% affordable, 50% private, which would include social rented and an intermediate tenure mix. So
another great contribution to the 1.5 million. What's your role, Alison, in making all of that happen?
So I'm the project manager for this project, and in terms of what I think the project needs, certainly a competent project manager, someone who's passionate and driven and can drive the project forward and help to steer it, help the council to be really clear about its objectives and ensure that those are met. And if we take this forward in partnership with a development partner, someone who can build a trusting and collaborative relationship with a development partner, and then I think that the project will also benefit from clear leadership within the council, officer level, and so senior officer level, and political leadership, so kind of clarity and commitment. And then of course I think that we'll benefit from our platinum planning service and our excellent design review panel as well.
Esra, do you want to tell us a little bit about your role in this and other schemes in Ealing as well?
Yeah, so I actually just recently moved into the housing team, working alongside Alison on the small sites work stream. I'm also working on piloting our first community land trust in the borough, so that's really exciting. And I'll also be focusing on estate regeneration. Prior to working in housing, I was in the strategic planning team, helping them get the plan to Regulation 19. And then once we have the responses back, we then submit the plan to examination. And then we go through a whole examination period in which the plan gets tested in public, and then hopefully hopefully if everything's good, we then have an adopted plan.
What other skills would you say specifically are involved in your role?
So the role that I was playing in strategic planning was mostly engagement. So I was responsible for putting together the consultations and engaging with different stakeholders who engage with the plan.
What does engaging mean, though, in terms of what you actually have to do? What's the skill?
So communication is key, I would say. I think it's a skill that is underestimated, being able to articulate ideas and proposals really well to different audiences, and for them to be able to understand things in a very simple manner is really key. So I think that particular skill has really developed over the years, and I'm now utilising this skill in housing.
Great stuff. And Alison, what other skills are involved in the kind of project management side of the work?
Well, project management is a key one, of course. So, being able to kind of manage your time, budget, risks, all of that. The kind of technical skills around understanding development, viability, being able to manage a team of consultants, of course, and being able to speak their language. But I think a really key skill is around being able to navigate the multi-headed beast that is the public sector. You have many different competing priorities. Every team and delivery area and service area wants to do the best for local residents, but sometimes that can lead to competing priorities. So being able to work with different teams, work with members to arrive at kind of the optimal balance of priorities for each project.
So Esra, Alison, you've talked very eloquently about the skills that you think are important in the jobs that you do. How do you get those skills? Is this something that you've picked up at school? Is it on-the-job training?
So I would say it's a mixture of self-development. So making sure that you're spending some time outside of work, building on those skills, whether it's going to events where you're learning from the private sector, for instance, or joining a Homes England webinar where they're talking about viability, appraisals. And in terms of Ealing, so we have a very proactive learning and development group within our directorate. Earlier this year, we organised and delivered project management training for over 40 officers, and that was to really learn the fundamentals of project management, and that was a great success. The officers that did the training are now kind of utilising those skills in order to run projects more smoothly, to drive efficiency and to mitigate risks earlier on, or I guess to identify risks earlier on, and also to encourage more collaboration across teams.
Great stuff. Alison?
There's lots of different pathways into the public sector, into the built environment, into housing delivery. People study architecture, engineering, planning, construction, project management. So many different routes in. For me personally, I studied urban planning in America. So when I moved here, that wasn't very useful. But I managed to secure a job working for the mayor in the mayor's regeneration team, and really have just kind of just sort of followed my interests. So working in regeneration, working for the Affordable Homes program, and in housing delivery. So it's really thinking about and developing really transferable skills. So maybe I haven't done sort of something before, but I have some skills that I can kind of build off of to take that next step. And as Esra said,
what would an example of that be?
So for example, when I was working in the regeneration team for the mayor many years ago, that was there. I was working in some ways in project management, so working with project managers and applying project management skills to support usually local authorities, sometimes community groups, to deliver kind of smaller scale regeneration projects, supporting often town centres and other kind of economic and employment uses. So when I moved into housing, while I hadn't sort of worked in housing before, of course I had those project management skills. So some of what I was doing was building on those skills, and some of it was learning on the job, learning kind of new technical skills on the job, benefiting from learning and development offered by my various employers, and also so much is available through other organisations. So much training, and a lot of it's available online now, so it's very convenient.
And let's get back to the application of those skills. We're standing here on it must be said, a very windy day in a car park, looking at Perceval House, the council's headquarters, and talking about the potential of this site to deliver new homes. How does it feel for you to be involved in that sort of work? What kind of joy do you get out of that?
I mean, it's exactly what I want to do. I mean, I've always been a built environment enthusiast, and when I was working in regeneration, I really felt like I wanted to make an even bigger difference, and I really wanted to be involved in bigger projects that were going to kind of have more of a direct impact on people's kind of everyday lives. So for me, it's a kind of a perfect combination of my enthusiasm and joy in the built environment, and also working for the public sector, which is about kind of the public good and public benefit, and improving people's lives. So
fantastic, thanks Alison. Esra, same question to you. How does it feel to be involved in shaping the future of places?
I would say really, really exciting. I mean, so I actually studied architecture. I only got to about my end of my part one, and then I worked in the private sector for a little bit, and then I took a completely different route. So instead of going back to do my part two, I did research architecture, and I think that really inspired me to go and work in the third sector for a few years, and that really kind of improved my skills in communication, working with different people, and yeah, it got me really excited about wanting to come and work in a local authority. So I came to Ealing through public practice, and I think now being in the housing team, I'm really happy. I'm super excited about the potential that Ealing could deliver on affordable housing in the borough to meet the needs of our residents. And yeah, I guess just watch the space.
Great stuff. And one bit of advice, Alison, for anyone out there who might be wondering what to do with the rest of their lives, or might already be excited about the prospects of working in the built environment but not know how to do it.
Yeah, I think, one thing that people can do, and I did when I moved here, is I really just started sort of internet, Google stalking people, and looking on LinkedIn and seeing kind of who's doing what, and then reaching out to those people directly to see if they would give me some of their time to tell me a little bit about their roles and kind of, what the different kind of roles are that exist in the sector here. So yeah, and then that can lead to kind of further opportunities when jobs arise. So I think reaching out to people who are in the field, I think, is a good starting point.
Great idea, Alison. Esra, same question to you. A bit of advice.
Yeah, I mean, I would say sometimes it's easy to, not easy, but I think sometimes we have our path kind of set out, but I guess my experience has taught me to not be afraid to deviate from that path.
Okay.
To experiment, to go and work in different sectors, and then that will allow you to know exactly what you want to do.
Fantastic. Esra Elrahman and Alison Mayer of Ealing Council, thank you very much for your contribution to 1.5 million new homes.
Thank you.
That's it for another episode of 1.5 million new homes, the local government challenge, sponsored by Redloft and Bugler Developments. We're going to be back in the next episode to talk about building and sustaining a career in public sector housing delivery. But until then, thank you so much for watching, and if you like what we're doing, click like or subscribe, and we'll look forward to seeing you next time. Thank you.